Okay, we should see the little flashing red button now at the top of the screen. Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see, current co-chairs, Jennifer Jacobson Wood of Peoria Public Library and Aaron Roberts of Illinois Prairie District Public Library. Do you want to read the names in the chat and I'll chime in with the libraries like we typically do? I know, Jennifer, you said that you can unmute yourself and start to say the names, but if not, I can certainly do it. Okay, I'll go ahead and just get started and go through these real quickly. Let's see, of course, myself, RSA cataloging and database supervisor. We've got Jane Bradbury, the RSA cataloging senior specialist. We've got Kendall Orison, the RSA director, Tony Hahn, the RSA member services user experience coordinator, Abby Miles from Brimfield Public Library, Amanda Schaefer from Midwest Central School District, Anita Smith from Henderson County Public Library, Ann Turnbull from Kewanee Public Library, Anna Hudson, RSA member services supervisor, Beth Duttlinger, Lilliam Evans Library District, Carla Ainsley, Macomb Public Library, Courtney Young, Village of Avon Public Library, Pamela Thomas, Cataloging Maintenance Center, Illinois Heartland Library System, Elizabeth Wild, Henry Public Library, Aaron Roberts, Illinois Prairie District Public Library, Heidi Ray, Alpha Park Public Library District, Jennifer Schote, RSA Cataloging Coordinator. We've got Jennifer Williams, Normal Public Library, Joanne Heilman, Pekin Public Library, Julia Kozayat-Callahan, Normal Public Library, Karen McClure, Normal Public Library, Lisa Shemensky, RSA Cataloging Coordinator, Lori Haller, Washington District Library, Megan Greenhilla, Chillicothe Public Library District, Melissa DeVerger, Quincy Public Library, Michelle Armbruster, Morrison and Mary Wiley, Nancy Turpinning, Galesburg Public Library, Nancy George Rails, Rebecca Seaborn, Farmington Public Library, Rhonda Bierman, RSA Cataloging Coordinator, and Chantry Miller, Blessing Health Professions Library. Okay, I know that may seem like a little bit of a waste of time, but I think it's helpful just so you see the diverse representation of libraries we have in this meeting, and each of you bringing a perspective to the conversation. We're hoping you'll be able to stay for the networking discussion that Heidi from Alpha Park will facilitate for us during the second half of the meeting. It looks like we've got one more person joining, Lindsay Nichols from the Carthage Public Library. If anybody else joins Lisa, Lisa on our team is the chat monitor. If you could just go ahead and admit them for me, that would be great. Oh, that's okay, Aaron. Aaron from Illinois Prairie says, sorry, my microphone doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so I'll go ahead and let's see, I'm going to shift what I'm showing you. I'm hoping you can see what's on the screen. As usual, the database committee meeting agenda is posted at rsanfp.com or rsanfp.org, whichever shortcut you prefer. It'll open up the colorful library staff support site banner. We'll go here on the left to RSA board committees groups. We'll open up the database committee either from the left or from the middle. We'll take a look at the agenda. That's odd. It doesn't seem to want to display some of my characters, but it looks okay now. There we go. Yeah. So we know Lisa's the chat monitor. Jane will be taking notes for us today. And Jennifer will help me with the recording reminders. We did number one. So now I'd like to turn it over to Jennifer Williams, the Normal Public Library Technical Services Manager. This is sort of a belated new staff welcome. Jennifer's been in her position at the Normal Library, her current position, about a year, and was recently named the permanent head of tech services. So I apologize, Jennifer. We're just now doing this, but better late than never. So you're welcome, Jennifer. If you want to unmute yourself and turn your camera on and just tell us a little bit about yourself and the current priorities of the Normal Tech Services Department.
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
I can. Oh, and I can see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, thank you for letting me take a moment to say hello. In terms of my background, I've worked at libraries for a long time, specifically this library. I grew up here in Bloomington Normal, and Normal was my home library when I was a kid. So I remember coming here in our much smaller building than we have now and how it was set up back then and everything. But I've worked here actually since 1995. I worked here part-time when I was in college in the children's department and did like shelving and stuff like that. One of the projects that I did was like filing our card catalog cards, which I loved doing. So
a cataloger early on.
Yes. Then I went to grad school and came back here as a children's librarian in 2001. So I was a children's librarian here for 18 years, doing a lot of like programming, story hours and summer reading and stuff like that. Collection development is kind of my first love, I think, which like kind of increased a lot for me in the last few years. So in terms of RSA, I've also been involved. I was involved with the new ILS search way back in 2006.
Oh, I'm sure Kendall well remembers that.
Yeah, so it's been a while. And specifically with that, I was working in like the reports group, so worked on some
okay.
of that. And then Jeannie Moonen retired at the end of February. She got out just in time before all of the craziness of right now. So from, like Erica said, from about mid-March until about 2 weeks ago, I was the interim tech services manager. And as of 2 weeks ago yesterday, my permanent position now. I have been learning a lot of things in the last year. It's been a weird time to try to learn a new job, but I'm muddling along, figuring out what I can. I have a lot to learn still. So I'm excited to work with RSA and all of you guys to, my goal is always to, just make the library easy for our patrons to use.
Sure.
Serve the library community in whatever way I can. Big projects currently on my plate right now, we're working on strategic planning. So that, involves a lot of different things and a project to like refresh and update our website. So those are taking a lot of my time right now, but then when I can, learning a lot about cataloging and how tech services works. That's about it.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's great to know more about you. I knew you'd been at the Normal Library for some time, but that's impressive. Yeah. No, that's great though, because you've got a good knowledge of the collection and the patrons that you can bring to tech services. I know it's easy to get tunnel vision sometimes just thinking about the process of making the materials available, but you bring a valuable perspective just of the overall big picture. So that's helpful to know. We wanted to have Jennifer introduce herself just because Normal Public Library, as we all know, is one of our largest RSA member libraries and contributes quite a bit of cataloging to our database. So that's the other reason we wanted to put a face with a name. So thank you for joining us. I know you've got to run, you've got a next meeting, but thank you again. And we hope to see you soon at a future meeting.
You will, thanks.
Okay, great. Why don't we do our next new staff special welcome to Tony Hahn, our Member Services User Experience Coordinator. If you'd like to, Tony, to unmute yourself and turn your camera on and share a little bit about yourself in terms of your background and what you're working on currently with us here at RSA and what you're looking forward to. So we'll let Tony take it away.
Sure. I'm Tony Hahn. I just moved to the Peoria area, like a month ago, and I'm excited to join RSA. I have experience mostly in public libraries. I worked in a school district middle school library as kind of like an LTA for a year. And that was great because I did everything from shelving to a little bit of cataloging to a little bit of work on like website and things like that. The expertise I bring to this, besides public libraries, is I was web services manager um, at Des Plaines Library, which is a suburb of the Chicago area. And for 3 years, did kind of website content management. There was an entire like ILS migration from Cersei Dynex over to Polaris, and so that involved a lot of like staff training. I also did like programming for adults, computer classes. And so I'm kind of just bringing a lot of that, experience to this job, and looking forward to, looking at our like RSA website, finding out ways we can make it better and more user friendly. And in addition to that, just kind of taking a critical eye to the user experience across like the RSA CAT, and ways we can make it more friendly and a much better, a better experience in small little incremental ways over time. And even though I'm new to the area, I'm really liking Peoria so far, and really enjoying working with everybody on RSA and all the member libraries as well. So just kind of hitting the ground running at this point, and learning as I go, because there's a lot to learn. And I'm looking forward to meeting more people.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, we're excited to have you. You've been with us almost a month. Won't it be February 11th will be your 1 month anniversary. So Tony's been with us almost a month. He's been busy learning the ropes. Anna is his supervisor, but Kendall's been working with him too, because as we know, Kendall knows the RSA CAT. He's the expert, but we're hoping, I know I am, there's some things cataloging related. I'm hoping Tony, might be able to help us with in the RSA CAT as we move further along. So you might see Tony at a future meeting if he's helping us with some things cataloging related in the catalog. And not to put too much pressure on you, but yes, we do have high hopes you can help us with our website. I think everybody in this meeting would agree that the website, it needs a makeover, a facelift, open heart surgery. It needs something. So we're looking forward to having a fresh eye on it, because I think it's time that we try to make it easier to use, but we recognize too there's lots of other irons in the fire, so to speak. But in due time. Yeah. Thank you, Tony. Okay, so next on the agenda, Nancy George, the Rails Cataloging Services Coordinator who works at the Rails Burr Ridge office. She has joined us, and she's going to share some of the things going on with Rails cataloging, especially that have happened since our last September database meeting, which was on the 30th of September. It seems like a year ago. So Nancy, you're welcome to unmute and turn your camera on, and feel free to take it away.
Right. Thank you, Erica. I hope you can hear me fine, right?
Yes, and
Okay,
I see
great.
you. Woohoo!
Good morning, everyone. First, I wanted to thank you, RSA, for giving me this opportunity. I hope you all are keeping safe and healthy in this most unusual time. As Erica said, my name is Nancy George, and I am the Cataloging Services Coordinator at Rails. I would like to give you an update on cataloging services from Rails. For our member libraries. So first I wanted to talk about the cataloging training opportunities from Rails. We will continue to offer a variety of cataloging training opportunity to members, including repeating courses and specialized supplementary sessions. So due to current pandemic, we offer these trainings as a series of webinars or presentations. All these training courses are free to all staff of Rails libraries. I can provide you a tentative schedule on what we are planning to offer the rest of the year. So in March, we are planning to offer Mark Standard course one more time, because when we offered this course a couple of times, it has been filled up so quickly, and it was on high demand. So we are planning to offer this one more time. This is a 3-part course, and with a series of live instruction sessions through Zoom. It should be usually 2 hours each in each consecutive week. So the dates are March 18th, 25th, and April 1st. So usually around 10 to 12 is the time. So in early spring, we are planning to offer a training on Library of Congress classification system. In summer, we will be offering a course on cataloging of print monographs using RDA. In addition, we will be offering supplementary single sessions on different cataloging related topics through webinars, usually by outside presenters or by me. We are also planning to have a webinar on new RDA update or on LRM, the new conceptual model behind the new RDA. That should be available in fall. That's what I hope. And we continue to develop the new courses and maintain the content of existing courses. So currently I am developing a course on cataloging of video recordings. We don't have a schedule for this course yet. So that's our plan for, like, a tentative plan for our cataloging training for this year. So we always looking to expand the cataloging training opportunities that we provide to our members. Is there any cataloging topic you are interested in and that is not currently we are not offering? You can contact me. We will try our best to offer those courses. And all these courses will be listed in L2 as they were scheduled. If you are interested in participating any of these courses or classes, you can register through Zoom link on L2 when it will be available. We don't have a LMS system, learning management system right now, so you can register. We are offering these classes through Zoom. Apart from training, I support cataloging related functions of Find More Illinois. I hope all of you know about Find More Illinois. If you don't know, you can always contact Rails. We are happy to inform you about the details. So currently we are involved in an exciting project. We have our first completely non-automated library joining Find More Illinois. This is a great test case for us to develop more formal process for getting more non-automated libraries into FMI. If you know any of the non-automated libraries or any library would like to join, we would be happy to help them. Another area I am working on is specialized cataloging support to our member libraries. So we are in the process of offering that service. The specialized cataloging support. So we did a survey in the middle of 2020 to determine the need for specialized cataloging support from Rails. Based on the survey results, we are planning to establish a centralized cataloging center that would provide cataloging, especially when original cataloging or world language cataloging is needed for our members as like an outsourcing option for free. Currently I am developing the eligibility parameters and other procedures for this. So once we decided the procedures, we will inform you the details. Hopefully this is going to happen soon. So now I wanted to talk about the steps you should take in order to get most out of Rails. I don't know if I can share with you
Yes, I did.
screen?
I
Okay.
did enable screen sharing if I did it correctly,
Okay.
but if not, let me know and I can I can navigate while you drive.
Okay, so I can share with you. So that means your screen share is going to stop. That's what it says. Okay, I
It
can
should be
continue.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope you can see, right?
Yes.
So we highly recommend that all the staff members of Rails libraries have an account, L2 account, so you can access the different Rails resources like continuing education, grants, and other services. I just wanted to show you what I am talking about. So if you have an account, that's great. If you don't have, I would recommend you to create an account. You can sign up. And if you need any help, you can always ask Rails, or your supervisor can help you setting up that account. So with this L2 account, you can sign up for Rails live or archived webinars. So these archived webinars and these live webinars are free resources. And these archived versions you can access at any time. So if you wanted to go through seeing the archives, I hope you can see the continuing education archives, and you can search by cataloging, and all the cataloging archived cataloging trainings you can find. And recent one is we recorded. The recent one is the cataloging ethics. So this is a great resource. So I would recommend you to create sign up for the L2 account if you don't have. Also, I would like to mention, if you would like to know more about what is happening at Rails, it is a good idea to subscribe Rails e-newsletter. So this is our weekly e-newsletter that is full of CE events, deals, discounts, grant opportunities, updates on new projects, and so much more. So this is a primary way Rails communicate with our members. So if you are interested in getting the updates from Rails, this is a great place, and you can receive the e-newsletters every Wednesday. Also, I wanted to mention one more thing, that is the email list. Okay, where is it? The Rails email list. I can Rails. Right. The Rails email list, you have a wide variety of email lists serving Rails libraries across Illinois. So these lists include specific job groups like tech services, youth services, programming, and many more. So you can also sign up for region-specific emails. Like if you are in Peoria area, you can subscribe to that as well. So this is a great opportunity to network with your colleagues. This is another thing I wanted to mention. So this is the best way we can communicate with our members. So that's what I have mainly. And thank you for your kind attention. And if you have any other questions, I would be happy to answer about the cataloging training or anything related to cataloging. So I'm happy to answer.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nancy. You've been very busy. Wow, it's been a while since we have connected, and yeah, you've been busy. I did put Nancy's email address in the text chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That update's very helpful because, like I said, we knew you were working on things, but it sounds like it's been nutty for you too, for lack of a better term. Yeah, just keep in mind about those L2 accounts, especially if you have staff join your library. We know everybody in this meeting has an L2 account since you typically you didn't register that way, but we have a group of regulars. But just keep in mind as new staff join your library, or if staff leave your library, to make sure you keep L2 updated too with the accounts, so that we have a good active directory. And then also too, so so they can register for events, like Nancy did a good job pointing out. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy too has another engagement, so she is going to bow out. So thank you again, Nancy, and we hope to see you at a future meeting.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to try. Can you see the agenda again on my screen?
Not yet.
No. Okay, let me, okay, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so the next update we'll have from the wider cataloging world. Let's have Pamela Thomas from the Cataloging Maintenance Center at the Illinois Heartland Library System. She'll update us on some of the things the CMC has been doing, give us a couple helpful refreshers, and then Jennifer Schote from the RSA team, she'll chime in at the end with a couple tidbits. So Pamela, if you're ready, feel free to unmute and turn your camera on and take it away.
Okay, I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I can see you. Woohoo! Good morning.
Okay, in the chat, sorry, my voice is crappy today. In the chat, I've got our webpage link as well as our email, although the email isn't linking, but you can copy and paste at your leisure. I recognize a lot of names when Erica's reading them off, so if you already know this information, then just zone out or something. So for those of you that don't know about the Cataloging Maintenance Center, we are funded through the Illinois State Library. So sorry. So we catalog local authors, local genealogy, local history, and that means Illinois, but can also verge onto borders of other states, but ask us about those. Special collections, and we provide database cleanup for all Illinois libraries for free, because that's what we're paid to do. So anything that we do is for free. Keep that in mind. Before you send your items, we would appreciate it if you would email us, and that's the CMC at illinoisheartland.org that I have in the chat. Well, for one thing, because, you know, the world's really weird right now, and we don't go into the office on a daily basis, so that way we know to have people in our offices let us know when things arrive. So sorry. And also you can kind of chat with us about whether your items are eligible or not, because sometimes they're not. And if they're not eligible, then we can't catalog them for you. We are going to be working on a database cleanup project with RSA on the encoding level 8 and M request, but that has not started yet. That will probably start this summer. And I'm sure that Erica will let all of you know when that begins. Erica had asked if there were any courses planned in the coming months. I'm supposed to be creating a, cataloging 3D objects, reality and kits class. It's going to be a 4 weeks class. Okay, I am planning it. I am creating it, but I need to just lock myself somewhere. And
oh, I know how that goes. Yeah. With no phone and no internet access. Yeah.
Yes, yes, please. So my goal is to offer it sometime this spring. And then I can start offering the rest of the courses that we have in Moodle, which next up would be the subject analysis class again, which I taught last spring. And then I'd offer the RDA book training and then the RDA for video and audio recordings. And all 3 of those are 6-week courses. Currently, I'm the only one that teaches the Moodle classes. So that's, you know, I've got other stuff to do too.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I wasn't trying to pressure you, Pam.
No,
I
no,
just
no,
know
no.
the members that have attended and chime in the chat if you've attended one of Pam's courses. But I just know that our team members, Lisa's done them. I know it's been so helpful. Yep. So that's why I asked you. But no, we're certainly not trying to guilt you into why aren't you teaching these?
No. I feel like I spend like my entire year teaching, but
There's
I mean,
just
that's
not
okay
enough
too.
time in the day to do
There is
everything.
not.
No. Okay, that's
Um,
good though. They're on your radar because like I said,
Yes.
I know they're very helpful for our members when they take them. So that's good to know that they are part of the plan, just not right
They
away.
are. I just don't have a hard schedule for those yet.
Sure.
And also, if there are topics you would like us, well, me, to offer, let me know. And if you have a new member who you feel like really needs to take these, I can offer them as an independent course. I just did that for a new member at the Illinois State Library. She took the RDA book training and subject analysis starting last December, and she just finished last week. So I'm open for that too. And I do usually cap the classes at like 25 or 30 students because it just gets really overwhelming trying to grade all the quizzes because I give feedback and that takes time, but that's okay. So also we've got our Online with the CMC webinars, February 18th. So just in a couple weeks, we're going to have the good, the bad, and the just plain weird, a short guide to cataloging oddly bound books. And Heidi Margold, our newest cataloger who started last March, is going to be offering that. And I've seen her presentation, and I think it's going to be really cool. And then March 18th, I'm going to be doing Braille Decoding the Dots because I've been cataloging a lot of Braille books for Midtown Public Library. And then in April, Ian Anderson is going to be doing Mixing It Up, Mixed Materials on April 15th. And then Sherry Schuler-Faust on May 20th is going to do Cheerios, Rice Krispies, or the Directory of Overseas Summer Jobs. And I made everybody come up with their own titles because I was like, I can't be creative for everyone. So you can just kind of see our imaginations run wild. And you can register for all those in L2 or on our website that I link there in the chat. We're also starting to come up with topics for our next fiscal year, which would start July 1st. So we would be doing a new round of topics August of this year through May of 2022. So if you have any topics that you would like us to cover, can you please also just email us at that link that I put in the chat box, because we're always looking for new topics. And then, yes, and then I gave you the webpage. So I think that's all that I have. Sorry if I took more than my allotted time.
Oh, no, that's okay, Pam. All of that's helpful information because we know there's always things in the hopper, so to speak. And it's just good to know, even if things aren't finalized, like some of these courses that they'll be coming up. Yeah, and watch the Rails e-news and then also the RSA listserv because we'll help promote the Cataloging Maintenance Center webinars and 6-week courses as they get scheduled. I know next week, look for a listserv post from Jane on our team. She'll give you a nudge about the February 18th CMC webinar. So we'll certainly help promote them and then keep an eye on the Rails e-news and just remember that CMC at Illinois Heartland address if you want to touch base with Pam. Yeah. Yeah, great. Thank you, Pam, for joining us. That's all helpful information. And then we'll have Jennifer chime in with just a couple things related to the CMC that she does for you, our member library. So Jennifer, if you want to chime in with your tidbits.
Oh, sure. Good morning, everyone. And yes, we appreciate the CMC very much. So thank you, Pam. Erica had asked me to look at some numbers of what we've loaded, because what happens when the CMC has done their cataloging, they'll send the items back to you, but the file goes to us, which we then load. I looked at some stats from September to December, excuse me, last year, and it looks like a total of 66 records by 16 different libraries. It seems to me like it could be a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. I was looking in the help desk, at my stats. And I know definitely a few of the participants here at the meeting, like Pam mentioned earlier, have used the CMC, so that's great. I also do recognize the libraries and the names. I do want to point out, because it was asked me before, we always, stress the local history part of it. But it's not just so much like for your nonfiction historical, books. I mean, it could be your local authors. I know I was looking up, there's a Donald Bowers. I guess he is a local author that lives in Galesburg, and the CMC has cataloged a couple books for him, and those are fiction, and that also falls in the line of local history just because it's a local author. So I just wanted to kind of make that clear, because I did have that question come up before. It's like, well, it's not really local history. Well, no, but it's a local author, and that is, something that falls along the lines of the service with the CMC. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to comment. I think that's it. The Donald Bowers books I was talking about, it's like Christian fiction, alternative histories. Is there anything else you wanted me to touch on, Erica?
No, mostly we just wanted to give our members a helpful idea of some of the numbers. Remember, we're trying to get better about the numbers as part of our cataloging restructuring program. So yeah, it's helpful to know that there were close to 70 records loaded since our last meeting. So you are using it, keep using it.
Yeah.
And like Jennifer said, just keep in mind too, it doesn't necessarily have to be a nonfiction. It could be a fiction item as well. Yeah.
Or a good case that recently, Pam, you haven't received them yet, but probably you will be receiving some books. Prairie Creek, they had a former librarian there write some poetry books. So that's, being, former librarian from Prairie Creek, that's a perfect example of something that that they will be sending into the CMC to get cataloged. I think that's it, Erica. Thank you.
Sure. No, that's great, because sometimes we forget the little nitty gritties about the CMC. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's push forward. Typically, we do this election of our database committee chair or co-chairs. We do it in January, but since we had some scheduling conflicts last month that prevented us from meeting last month, we'll go ahead and do our election this month. Currently, it's Jennifer Jacobson Wood of Peoria and Aaron Roberts of Illinois Prairie. Heidi of Alpha Park has volunteered as a candidate to run. Is anybody else interested? I combed through my email in the help desk. I admit, and several of you already know this, it's been difficult for me with the help desk switch, keeping up with things in there. I didn't see anybody else volunteering in my email or in a help desk, but please chime in, either the text chat or unmute yourself if you're interested in this position. Let me just open up here and we'll review real quickly. Here on the database committee page, we have a list of the responsibilities of the chair, co-chair. These are still accurate. I checked it. So even though the document's 4 years old, they're elected to a 1-year term, no limit to how many terms they can serve. Typically elected January, but in this case, we'll do February. Since we do have interest from at least Heidi, we won't need to delay the election. The co-chair shares agenda suggestions with the co-chair, if applicable, and me as well. They attend when it's safe for us to do so. And this is a when, not when it's if, because I'm hopeful we'll be able to resume in-person meetings at some point. So they'll attend meetings in person. And then also when it's safe, if we have an in-between meeting, like today, for example, if there's a good chance we won't have time to cover everything in the RSA update, and that's okay, but we'll probably need to schedule an in-between meeting before our next full meeting. So the chair, co-chair helps run those meetings. They review the meeting notes that our team, in this case for this meeting, Jane prepares. We post a recording, and that co-chair or chair writes a short summary of the meeting for the users group packet. And then they'll send it to me and I'll make sure it looks good. And then Kendall puts it in the packet. That's something I admit I need to get better about in terms of giving the chair co-chairs nudges. So I know in these past few months that's kind of slipped, but we'll get back on track with the chair co-chair writing a summary. They attend the user group meetings in person when it's safe to do so, to answer questions about their report that's in the packet, but they're not delivering a verbal report anymore. That was one of the measures Kendall made to streamline those meetings, was just to have written reports rather than verbal. If there's any cataloging policies proposed by our committee, they help me present them to the users group. And then if they're unable to attend a users group, just keeping me in the loop so that I'm ready to step in if there's any questions about the report in their absence. So that's in a nutshell what the chair co-chair does.
Sorry to interrupt. For
Sure.
those that might have missed it in the chat, if anybody's interested in this and they're thinking about it, do note that Jennifer Jacobson Wood and Aaron Roberts said that, if there's somebody that really wants to do this, they're willing to step aside to let somebody new take over. So if you're out there thinking about you wanting to do this.
Yeah, that's great. They don't think of it as a lifetime commitment. So you're not a lifer if you if you volunteer to do this. Okay, I'll give you a couple more seconds to think, but if not, are you, Heidi, still willing to be the chair starting at the end of this meeting and then running through January 2022?
Yep, still willing.
Great. That would be excellent. Okay, well, I think we will go ahead and call it. Heidi is the new chair. Congratulations, Heidi, and thank you. Round of applause. Okay, so we'll get the database committee page. I'll get this updated to reflect Heidi's name and email address so that if you have any ideas, either for the agenda or especially the networking discussion, you'll be able to find her here. I'll also work with you, Heidi, after this meeting so we can get some dates firmed up for an in-between meeting and then the next full meeting. So we won't announce specific dates yet because I want to make sure Heidi is available. So thank you again, Heidi. We will push forward. Okay, I think we're in a good spot to start the RSA update. And like I said, it's okay if we don't cover all of this. We'll schedule an in-between if necessary, but we'll start with Jane on our team telling you some tidbits about our new help desk. So take it away, Jane.
Sorry, I don't know why I always act like that mute button is completely hidden. I have no idea. It hasn't moved from the left-hand corner, but evidently. Okay, I just have a few questions. The new help desk does have a new email address, and that's help@rsanfp.org. However, you can still use the old address. It will work also. RSA help@railslibraries.info. That old address is not set to be turned off anytime soon. And we will, of course, give you plenty of notice through the listserv. So when the turn-off date is determined, but you will want to keep track of, make sure you look at the listservs because eventually we'll be sending those out. Let's see, on the RSA support site at the left sidebar at the top.
Did you want to share your screen, Jane? Yeah, okay, that might be easier.
Let me share my screen. here. I will find it. Let me get my internet up. There we go. Okay. Let's see. There is, I wanted to just point out where the contact list is that does have the new email address on it. It has the old also, but up in the, where it says RSA support staff info, if you click on that, you'll notice there's a new contact list or an up-to-date contact list here with the old and new addresses there. I know you all might be aware of, I'm sure, when I worked in the library, we had these everywhere. So of course, the slips are updated also.
The slice and dice
let's
slips, as I affectionately call them.
Yes, yes, exactly. And we do encourage you to go ahead and print a copy of the contact list to serve as sort of a reminder that there is a new email address and begin to use it. Remember also to email all of your questions and comments and concerns to the RSA Help Desk. And we as a staff have that desk up on our computers all day. So it really is the best way to get a hold of us. Now, if you need to share information that's private, you don't want everybody to see for some reason, you are welcome to use our personal email addresses, but we do ask that you just use that sparingly. The chances that we'll see your email sooner if it comes in through the desk are actually pretty good. Let's see, what else did I want to say? We do ask also that you keep the emails from the help desk. I have, for things that come into me automatically, I know I've set up a folder for everything to go into. We ask that until your case or your question, your request is resolved, that you don't delete those, but you keep them. And I'm going to throw in a little tidbit for the catalogers here, a little reminder. Be sure to look in the subject line, because you might see something like images needed, please respond. And so we do ask that you take a look at the subject line, and just be aware that if we need a response, we'll put something in that subject line to let you know. If you need an email, let's see here, sorry, I'm putting everything over on. If you send an email to the RSA Help Desk and you notice that you're receiving emails at an address you prefer that we do not contact you at, on the homepage of our support site, you'll notice that on the online request forms, there is a change help desk preferred email form. And you can open that form, you can see it's just a brief form, and let us know if you prefer that we not use a particular email. Those emails, we have had them imported, and so there could be, you could find that you don't want that. And it does not matter if more than one person uses that same address. We do appreciate your patience as we continue to, get accustomed to the new help desk. We are really excited about its potential. It helps us to better interact or track our interactions. And of course, if we can track them easier and other people on the staff can track them easier, that of course leads to better customer service for you as well. So anyway, we appreciate your patience. And does anyone have questions, or I'll let Erica jump in if she has other comments about it.
Thank you,
No,
Jane. That's
sorry.
helpful. Yeah. Was there anything in the chat, Lisa? I did have one thing I wanted to chime in as I was digging through my email last night. I had a good question from Chantry about the help desk, so I was going to chime in with that. But did you have anything, Lisa, from the chat?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, and chime in. I think Chantry's with us if I'm not understanding the question correctly. And apologies, I did not see this. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to how the help desk notifies you when there's a new message. She had said that she's wondering how old help desk tickets work with the new help desk system. When she replied to an old ticket, it created a new case. Are the old tickets being imported into the new system? So to explain this the most simple way, the emails, the tickets that you sent to our old help desk, which was turned off on January 11th, so anything that day or before, they are not going to be imported into the new help desk. And that new help desk went live on January 12th. But rest assured, no tickets in the old help desk. Nothing has been lost. We continue on our end to have access to that old help desk. There's no end of life date set, at least not at this point, not in the foreseeable future. So yes, Chantry, on the right track. If you reply to an email that you sent to us before January 12th, when the new guru, as we call it, help desk went live, your reply automatically comes into our new help desk, which is what Chantry saw. And you'll get in that situation an automatic email notification that your question has been created as a case in the new help desk. And remember, like Jane was mentioning just a couple minutes ago, remember to keep that email until you hear from us, a human, not the automated help desk robot emails, as I sometimes think of them. Remember to keep the emails it's sending at you until you hear from a human that we've answered your question, resolved your issue, processed your cataloging request, etc. We're still determining our internal procedure, us staff, that we do on the back end, so we don't need to go into the specifics about that during this meeting, but we'll make sure though, if you reply to an email that you sent us to the old help desk before January 12th, we'll make sure that we have that original email, and any follow-up since then, we'll make sure everything's in our new help desk. I know Kendall's planning to talk about the help desk in some more depth at the users group meeting next Wednesday, February 10th at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in learning more, that'd be a good opportunity. I know the meetings posted on L2, but certainly contact our help desk at any point if you have questions about all these emails you're getting, because it can be confusing. Okay, I just see Anne's question in the chat. If you send a question to the old email address, does it go to the new email address, and how many days does it take to get a human response? That's Anne at Kiwani. Chime in, Kendall, if I'm wrong, but when you reply to the old ticket in the old help desk, the reply comes, right away, correct, into the new help desk. But in terms of actually getting a human response, that depends on the nature of the question and who it needs to go to. So if there's something in particular, Anne, that you've asked us about, certainly we can look into that. But we're trying. I know my goal is within 1 business week. I know that's a terrible turnaround time, but I like to have 5 business days as my turnaround time, if not sooner, for my questions. I know the cataloging team is trying to as well notify you as soon as possible once your item is ready for you to edit it. But the turnaround time, I unfortunately can't give you a hard and fast in terms of how long it takes for a human response. Kendall, is there anything you'd add to that?
That is correct. So both of the email addresses, both the old RSA help at railslibraries.info and the new help at rsanfp.org, both of those emails go to the new help desk. So when you are responding to a case from the old help desk.
And think of that, remember, it's January, something you sent before January 11th.
Correct. right? So when you respond to one of those, or if we have a question on one of those old cases that we're still working in the old help desk, when you reply back, it's going to open a new ticket in the new help desk.
And that's pretty much right away, correct? There's not
yeah,
like
correct.
a,
There's no lag there.
a day delay. Mhm.
Yeah, there's no lag. It opens immediately in the new help desk, and it shows up in the new ticket queue. And the new ticket queue is generally 1 or 2 tickets that have come in the past 15 or 20 minutes. People have been doing a really good job of grabbing tickets and assigning them out. The one thing that we're waiting to do until March is to actually, we're giving everybody the rest of February to update that email address, your preferred email address, because that is the one that the automatic ticketing stuff uses when we assign a case to a person, right? So anyway, the case will come in and it'll get assigned out either to a queue, which would be the cataloging queue or the member services queue or the systems or reports queues. And then from the queues, somebody will grab it and work on it. Turnaround time depends on the team you send it to, how busy that particular team is. And quite frankly, on some of the smaller teams, if that person is sick or not. So we've had several people on staff that have been had quite a bit of reduced work time the last several weeks just due to illnesses and things like that. So I'm sure there are some places where things have not been answered nearly as quickly as we would like. If you've got a ticket that's open and you feel like, hey, I am not getting the response that I need to get, you can either respond back to the ticket and bump it and say, hey, I really need an answer on this, or you can forward the ticket to myself or to Erica or to Anna or to James, and say, hey, a person on your team, I opened this ticket. Is there, can we get something back on this? It's important that I have this for a board meeting or whatever. As a rule, nobody really has time to go snooping through the queues to see what is being done or not being done. Especially now when, like I'm working on users group stuff and we've got some people out sick. And so we're trying to cover all the bases as best we can.
Couple things I'll chime in.
Not a great answer, but that is the answer.
I was going to chime in because I know several of you in this meeting know that my turnaround time is miserable. But I know when the cataloging team has been telling you that they're passing questions to me, I know I've asked them and they've been doing a good job mentioning that if something does need immediate attention, please call me because that really brings it front and center. And I think Kendall would agree as well that a phone call, to me, that's a logical next step because you've sent emails and you're getting all these weird like robot emails. So if you don't want to do the continued emailing, if you feel like your question needs an immediate response and it's been sitting, please call because I know in my case that really brings it to my attention. But if you do want to take it, to Kendall or another supervisor, that's certainly understandable. And then just one other thing I was going to chime in, and again, Kendall, correct me if I'm wrong, but with this library the change help desk preferred email form, you don't need to submit this unless you know that we have been emailing you at an address that you don't want us to use. Is that right? So everybody does not need to submit this form unless you notice, hey, I've sent some tickets lately to the help desk and they've been using an address I'd prefer they not use. Is that correct? Or do you want everybody to fill this out?
No, that is correct. Everybody doesn't need to fill it out. The form will continue to exist. And the reason why we need to have the form is we import all of the people attached to an RSA library from L2. L2 makes you have a unique email address. We don't know if that's the address you want to be contacted at or not, right? So Right now, everybody has a unique address. That was the one we used. And we very quickly learned that people did not want to get emails at some of those unique addresses. So we added new fields in the system and migrated data, and then set up this form to allow you to say, this is the address I prefer you contact me at. And that could be a shared address at your library, or that could be a personal library address, or maybe your personal Yahoo or Hotmail or whatever account. We don't really care what it is. We just need to know what address you prefer us to send things to. And this is especially true for automated system emails that go out, because it looks at who the contact is on the case and then sends them an email to say, oh, hey, we opened a case for you, or, oh, hey, you've just been made the person who owns this case. And so it's letting you know so that you can respond back to
that's helpful. I just didn't want all 35 people in this meeting to think, okay, they showed this form. They've been emailing me at the address. It's been working fine, and I still need to submit this form. So I just wanted to make sure we clarified that you only need to do this if you get an email from us and you think, wait a minute, I would prefer they not use that address to contact me. Yeah. Okay. Why don't we take this question from Carla then? I think we'll actually take a break after Carla's question. So we'll certainly get an in-between meeting scheduled in the coming weeks to cover the rest of what's in this RSA update agenda item. But Carla's asking if it's helpful for us to let you know if a cataloging ticket we submitted ourselves has been resolved before RSA intervention, so you can close it. Or does that just create extra tickets? I'll let a member of the cataloging team chime in on that. I think I know the answer, but I'll let one of them chime in.
I'll take it. You can certainly email us and let us know that the case has been resolved. It doesn't just create extra tickets. It lets us know that we can go ahead and close that ticket, and chances are we don't have to send it then to the CMC later, since they'll be covering our encoding level 8 and M records. So yes, you can go ahead and do that if you feel it's been resolved before we've touched the ticket.
That would be great, Carla. Yes, thank you for asking. It's a good question, because yes, it does help the team know that's one less ticket, case, cataloging request, whatever you want to call it. That's one less to worry about. So if you have time and energy, that would be good to send a note to us so they can close it and then not worry about it. Yeah. Okay. I think, did I miss anything, Lisa, in the chat? I was trying to keep an eye on it myself. I know that was your responsibility per se, but I just know as Kendall was talking, I was trying to kind of link things together. So sorry about that. Yeah, okay. I'll give you just another couple seconds to think if there's any lingering questions about the help desk. But like we mentioned, there'll be more at the users group next Wednesday, the 10th at 1 o'clock. So stay tuned and look for the notes from that meeting too, if you can't join us. Yeah. Okay, I think then what we'll do, let me take one last look at the agenda. So yeah, we'll get an in-between schedule, don't worry. So we'll start with 6B in our in-between meeting. That in-between meeting, we'll probably allow up to 2 hours for it. We may not need 2 hours, but I'd rather be over generous to help us plan our days rather than skimpy on the time. So don't worry, we'll get to the rest of these. Just watch the listserv once Heidi and I come up with a good date for an in-between. But at this point, oh no, my agenda is looking garbled. Let me try opening it again. I was going to have Heidi just say the plan for the next meetings. I know I've already said it, but Heidi, do you want to chime in just again to mention what the plan is for the next meetings before we go on break?
Oh, you mean the next meeting starting after the break?
No.
So the next meeting's coming up?
Yeah, so we'll take the break and then do the networking. But yeah, I thought you could just mention here number 7, and then we'll go ahead and go to break.
Oh, okay. So we are going to plan on having a next database meeting. And then we'll have an in-between meeting sometime between our regular database meetings. I'm gonna have to come up with better terms for these, but so I believe we meet every 3 months on a regular basis. So with those 3 months meetings, we'll try to have half of the meeting be from RSA and getting the updates and whatever news that they need or want to get out to us. And then the other half, we're going to try to do more of a networking so that we can hear from everybody and see what issues, problems, comments, anything that you want to bring up that you're just looking for information on. That's kind of what we're hoping this networking portion will do. I don't believe we want to do the networking during the in-between meetings. Is that correct?
Right. So we'll have an in-between meeting, hopefully within the next month or so. And then, yeah, we'll get a full meeting scheduled that has the hybrid, like Heidi was mentioning, where it's half update, half networking, probably sometime in April. I know we usually meet in May, but there's a couple other things going on our end in May. So just stay tuned, but that's right. We'll do the networking during these meetings, the full meetings.
Meetings. So the full meetings are going to be the hybrid, and the in-between will just be whatever updates that we need. Great.
Right. Yep. Great. Okay. Well, with that, why don't we take our 10-minute break?